Welcome to Stories Aloud. Today we bring you a powerful summary of The Power of Your Subconscious Mind by Dr. Joseph Murphy, a book that has transformed millions of lives by teaching one simple truth. Your thoughts create your reality. We're really going to explore Dr. Joseph Murphy's profound insights today. This book gets right into some of those big questions we all wonder about, like why is one person sad and another happy? Why does one person seem joyous and prosperous while someone else is just struggling with poverty and misery? And what really makes the difference between success and failure?
Those are absolutely the core mysteries Dr. Murphy tackles. And our exploration today really aims to shed light on the answers, all by understanding how our own minds work. The book isn't just theory, though. It's really a powerful call to action, pushing you, the listener, to actually apply these techniques. Dr. Murphy makes this clear promise, this miracle working power. It's not something external, it's already inside you. And it's capable of lifting you out of confusion, misery, failure, and leading you towards freedom, happiness, and genuine peace of mind. It's really presented as a blueprint for transforming your life.
Okay, so right from the very beginning, the book claims miracles will happen once you start using this power. That sounds, incredibly bold. What exactly is this magic power then? And where does Dr. Murphy say we actually find it?
I think for most people, it feels like something you'd have to search for, outside yourself. That's a really common idea, and it's exactly what Dr. Murphy addresses head on. The fundamental truth he lays out is this. Your habitual thinking and imagery mold, fashion, and create your destiny. He puts it very simply. For as a person thinketh in his subconscious mind, so is he. This he actually calls the master secret of the ages, and that secret is that this marvelous miracle-working power is found in your own subconscious mind. The irony, as he points out, is that it's often the very last place most people would even think to look for it.
That's a powerful shift in perspective. So it's not something we need to go out and get, but rather a capacity we already have inside us.
Exactly. The goal isn't acquiring something new, it's learning how to use it in all departments of your life. Dr. Murphy states that within your subconscious mind resides infinite wisdom, infinite power, an infinite supply of all that is necessary. He really asserts that this inner source can reveal knowledge, it can inspire incredible inventions, attract the right people into your life, companions, business partners, and even, yes, lead to financial freedom. He sees it as the source for the solution for every problem and the cause for every effect. That even includes healing a troubled mind and the broken heart. What he's really driving home is that the answers aren't out there, they're deep within you.
And this leads us to something I found really interesting. The book describes us as having only one mind, but it possesses two distinct and characteristic functional parts. He labels them objective and subjective, or maybe more commonly, conscious and subconscious. How do these two parts work together? This feels like the core architecture we need to grasp, right?
It absolutely is. Think of your conscious mind like the navigator or captain of the ship. This is the part that directs your everyday actions, learns through your senses, observation, experience, education. Its main job is reasoning. It's what you're using right now to listen, to process, to make judgments. Now, your subconscious mind, that's different. It's the seat of emotions. It's creative, it's intuitive, and crucially, it takes the orders you give it. It does not question the orders. It's also this huge storehouse of memory. And it tends to operate best when you're relaxed or drowsy, which is why, sleep is so important.
Okay, so the conscious mind is giving the directions, and the subconscious just carries them out without asking questions or filtering. That puts a massive amount of responsibility on our everyday thoughts, doesn't it?
It really does. Dr. Murphy uses this great analogy. Think of your subconscious mind as a bed of rich soil. All day long, you're planting seeds of thought in that soil. Often, you might not even be aware of the seeds you're sowing because they come from your habitual thinking. And just like with soil, as you sow in your subconscious mind, so shall you reap in your body and environment. This is where the law of belief becomes so important. Your subconscious responds not just to your words, but to your deepest mental pictures, your feelings, your convictions. This is why he says, the world within creates the world without. If you want to change your external circumstances, your health, finances, relationships, you absolutely must change the cause. And the cause is how you're using your conscious mind. Change the cause, and you change the effect. It is that simple.
That makes a lot of sense. So if our conscious mind is constantly churning with fear or worry or anxiety, the subconscious just accepts those as orders and, kind of creates that reality for us. It sounds almost like programming.
It acts very much like that. When your conscious mind is full of fear, worry, and anxiety, those negative emotions get released into your subconscious, and it starts working based on those instructions. The book gives this fantastic anecdote about a great stage artist who suffered from terrible stage fright. His throat would just seize up. But instead of giving in, he forcefully commanded his inner self, shouting internally, "Get out of here. The big me wants to sing through me." And then he gave a direct order. "Be still, be quiet. I am in control. You must obey me." And apparently he went on stage and sang magnificently.
Wow.
It just shows the power of an authoritative command from the conscious mind to redirect the subconscious, which leads to this really crucial piece of advice from the book. Never finish a negative statement, reverse it immediately, and wonders will happen in your life.
That's incredibly practical. For someone listening who might feel stuck in those negative thought loops, how quickly can reversing those statements really make a difference? Is there another good example of that?
It can be profoundly impactful, really, because you're literally changing the input in real time. Dr. Murphy tells the story of a 75-year-old widow. She felt her life was barren and hopeless, just living alone on a small pension. She consciously decided to flip that script. She started repeating, often and with real feeling, "I am wanted, I am loved, I am happily married to a kind, loving, and spiritual-minded man. I am secure and fulfilled." She kept this up for about 2 weeks, and incredibly, within another week or so, she met a retired pharmacist who proposed. They got married.
It's amazing.
It really vividly shows how consistent, positive mental imagery and affirmation, when felt deeply, can actually reshape your external reality.
What's really fascinating, then, is how the book goes on to give so many specific, actionable methods for applying these ideas, particularly for healing. He even shares his own story, which adds a lot of weight to it.
He does. Dr. Murphy talks about his personal healing of a malignancy called a sarcoma by consciously using the healing power of subconscious mind. The core principle he keeps coming back to is that nothing appears on your body except when mental equivalent is first in your mind. Basically, your physical state mirrors your mental state. By changing your mind using these incessant affirmatives, you can effectively change your body. It's like giving your subconscious a new, healthy blueprint.
So he essentially prayed his way out of a sarcoma. I mean, for many listeners, that might sound almost too good to be true. How does the book explain the mechanism behind that kind of profound physical change? And what are some of those techniques?
It really highlights the subconscious mind's inherent capacity for healing. His own prayer for the sarcoma, which he repeated aloud 2 or 3 times a day for about 3 months, was simple but direct. It affirmed, "My body and all its organs were created by the infinite intelligence in my subconscious mind. It knows how to heal me." And it continued, "The infinite healing presence within me is now transforming every cell of my being, making me whole and perfect." It was like a constant, clear instruction to his body's own intelligence. Another powerful example involves a Methodist minister who healed himself of lung cancer. His method involved getting into a state of complete mental and physical relaxation, almost drowsy. Then he would affirm, "The perfection of God is now being expressed through me. The idea of perfect health is now filling my subconscious mind." The key in many of these techniques seems to be that relaxed, receptive state. It lets the conscious mind's usual resistance drop away so the message can sink in.
The deep relaxation.
Yeah.
It does seem to be a common thread, doesn't it? Almost like creating a bridge between the conscious and subconscious.
It really is. Another technique mentioned is called absent treatment. Dr. Murphy tells of a woman in Los Angeles praying for her mother in New York who had suffered a coronary thrombosis. The daughter consciously projected images of wholeness, harmony, and perfect health towards her mother mentally. She repeated a prayer affirming that the healing presence was right there with her mother, guiding the doctors. Apparently, her mother experienced a remarkable recovery within days. It shows the subconscious isn't bound by physical distance.
It's quite something.
And then there's a technique often done just prior to sleep, which he calls releasing kinetic action of the subconscious mind. It sounds technical, but it just means giving your subconscious a clear, positive job to do right before you drift off. A psychologist friend of his supposedly healed cancerous cells by affirming every night in that sleepy state. Every cell, nerve, tissue, and organ is now being made whole, pure, and perfect. My whole body is being restored to health and harmony. A complete healing reportedly followed in about a month. This is why the book really stresses that it's so critical to give the subconscious mind something beneficial to work on as you drop off into a slumber. And it advises you to stop talking about your ailments or giving them a name, especially in hours leading up to sleep, so you don't inhibit that healing power.
Okay, so connecting this to the bigger picture, beyond just health, The book offers some powerful ways to use the subconscious for, well, attracting wealth and success. It even mentions people earning fabulous amount of money working just a few hours a week. Now, that's an intriguing claim.
It certainly grabs your attention. Dr. Murphy is very clear that wealth is of the mind. It's fundamentally a subconscious conviction. It's not about trying to force external things to happen, but about building an internal idea, a feeling of wealth. One method he suggests is the ideal method. Just repeat the words wealth, success for about 5 minutes, maybe 3 or 4 times a day. But,
Okay.
and this is key with genuine feeling, the principle is that the feeling of wealth produces wealth. Your subconscious acts like a bank, amplifying whatever you consistently deposit emotionally.
So it's about avoiding that internal conflict, that mental tug of war, and making consistent deposits of prosperous thoughts rather than fighting against feelings of lack.
Precisely. To avoid mental conflict, he advises using positive statements frequently, especially just before sleep. Something like, "By day and by night, I am being prospered in all my interests." And he gives this strong warning. Don't sign blank checks. What it means is avoid negative phrases like, "there is not enough," or "I can't afford it," because your subconscious takes these as direct requests. It doesn't judge, it just accepts. Instead, practice what he calls compound interest by daily depositing thoughts of prosperity, success, wealth, and peace. Another very simple technique for wealth is to sleep and grow rich. You do this by repeating the word wealth quietly, easily, and feelingly as a kind of lullaby just before you fall asleep.
That's quite a vivid metaphor, sleeping and growing rich. Does the book offer a story to kind of illustrate this principle in action beyond the techniques themselves?
Oh yes, there's a really inspiring story about a young man who desperately wanted to be a physician, but had absolutely no money for medical school, 0 funds. So every single night for about 4 months, he vividly visualized his medical diploma hanging on the wall, with his name clearly printed on it in big, bold letters. This unwavering visualization, combined with his own persistent efforts in his waking life, led to something incredible. A prominent doctor took an interest in him, paid for his pre-medical training, and then later funded his medical school education. He went on to become a highly respected doctor.
Wow.
It perfectly illustrates Murphy's principle. Having clearly seen the end, you have willed the means to the realization of the end. The book also gives advice for things like getting salary raises or making successful investments. Instead of mentally fighting your employer or worrying about the market, you should radiate goodwill and affirm something like, "Infinite intelligence governs and watches over all my financial transactions. Whatever I do shall prosper."
This raises another important question then. How does all this apply to our everyday relationships? And maybe breaking negative patterns or habits. We're often told, do unto others, but this seems to take it deeper, to an internal level.
It definitely does. Dr. Murphy offers what he terms the master key to happy relationships. And it's profound in its simplicity, really echoing the golden rule, but on a mental level. As you would want people to think about you, think you about them in like manner. Out. As you'd want people to feel about you, feel you also about them in like manner. As you'd want people to act toward you, act you toward them in like manner. He really stresses that negative thoughts about other people are like poison. They harm you first and foremost.
So it's not just about how we act outwardly, but our inner thoughts and feelings towards others actually shape the relationship. Like a mental mirror almost.
Exactly like a mental mirror. For overcoming resentment, which he sees as incredibly destructive, the suggested prayer is, "I think, speak, and act lovingly, quietly and peacefully. I now radiate love, peace, tolerance, and kindness to all those who criticized me and gossiped about me." It's not just about being nice to them, it's about changing your own internal state regarding them. There's also the story of a salesman who wanted a promotion but really resented his sales manager. He consciously changed his inner speech, started praying for his manager's well-being, and visualized positive interactions. This fundamental shift in his subconscious attitude, the book says, directly led to him getting that promotion.
And forgiveness must be pretty central to this dynamic too, I imagine. Not just for the other person's sake, but for your own mental peace.
Absolutely central. Forgiveness is presented as essential to mental peace and radiant health. Dr. Murphy defines it beautifully as love in action, which means sincerely wishing health, happiness, and peace for the other person. The technique he gives involves quieting your mind, relaxing, and then affirming. "I fully and freely forgive," and you think of the name of the person. "I release him or her mentally and spiritually. I am free, and he is free." The real acid test for genuine forgiveness, he says, is when you can remember the incident, but you no longer feel the sting or hurt from it. And this applies just as much, maybe even more importantly, to forgiving yourself.
Okay, what about breaking bad habits? That seems like a battle so many of us face, and it often feels like it requires enormous willpower, which, as you mentioned, the book suggests isn't the main tool here.
That's a really key distinction. The book states flat out that we are all creatures of habit, and that habit is fundamentally a function of our subconscious mind. But since we create our habits, Dr. Murphy asserts, we absolutely have the power to change them. One technique involves deep relaxation and visualization. You get into that drowsy, meditative state. Then you fill your mind with a really vivid picture of the desired outcome. Maybe imagine yourself completely free from the habit, and you mentally rehearse loved ones congratulating you on your freedom. For a specific sleeping technique for habits, again, in that sleepy state just before drifting off, you quietly repeat something like, I am completely free from this habit. Harmony and peace of mind reign supreme. Repeat it like a soothing lullaby for maybe 5 or 10 minutes, night and morning. The book also lays out 3 magic steps for removing a habit. 1, get still and drowsy. 2, repeat a short, potent phrase like sobriety and peace of mind are mine now, and I give thanks. 3, just before falling asleep, vividly imagine a loved one saying congratulations. Feel the reality of it.
What's just so fascinating here is thinking about how many great minds, scientists, writers, inventors, seem to have intuitively used their subconscious for major breakthroughs. It's not just about personal stuff, but innovation, too.
Oh, definitely. Dr. Murphy specifically highlights scientists like Marconi, Einstein, and Nikola Tesla, crediting their subconscious minds for some of their greatest work. Tesla, for instance, would apparently build his inventions entirely in his imagination first, perfecting every detail mentally. He found that when he actually built them physically, they almost always worked exactly as he had imagined them. There's also the famous story of Friedrich von Stradonitz, the chemist. He was struggling intensely to figure out the structure of the benzene molecule. His subconscious delivered the answer in a flash of insight, a dream or vision of a snake biting its own tail, which led directly to the revolutionary benzene ring structure. And back in the 1920s, Dr. Frederick Banting, desperately seeking a cure for diabetes, was apparently instructed by his subconscious during sleep to extract residue from the degenerated pancreatic ducts of dogs. This led directly to the discovery of insulin, a monumental breakthrough.
So our subconscious can actually guide us towards solutions for incredibly complex problems, not just personal ones like finding lost rings, although that's useful too. How do we tap into that kind of deep guidance?
Right, it works on all scales. The book gives pretty clear steps for how to receive guidance from your subconscious. First, you quiet your mind, still your body, relax completely. Then, you mobilize your attention, really focus intently on finding the solution to your specific problem. Try to figure it out consciously first, but then you shift your focus to the feeling of happiness and relief you would experience if the perfect answer were already yours. Really sense that feeling of resolution. Let your mind play with this happy mood in a relaxed way, and then just drop off to sleep. Dr. Murphy notes that if the answer doesn't come immediately upon waking, don't worry. Get busy with something else, and often the answer will just pop up into your mind later, seemingly out of nowhere. He shares his own story of losing a valuable ring. He prayed simply, "You know all things, you know where that ring is, and you now reveal to me where it is." He woke up with the unexpected thought, ask Robert.
Ask Robert.
Yeah. It turned out Robert was the neighbor's 9-year-old son who had found the ring and hadn't told anyone. Asking Robert led him straight to it. The secret of guidance, as Murphy puts it, is trusting that you really cannot fail or make a false step when you're operating under this subjective wisdom within you. The main reasons prayers or requests for guidance fail, he claims, are lack of confidence and too much effort.
There's that effort point again. The book makes a very clear distinction. Use imagination, not willpower. That's really counterintuitive for a lot of us, isn't it? We're always taught to just try harder.
It's a fundamental paradigm shift. Trying to force your subconscious with sheer willpower, gritting your teeth, will likely backfire. It creates resistance. The 3 steps to success in prayer, or achieving any goal via the subconscious, are presented as 1. Acknowledge or recognize the problem clearly. 2. Turn it over completely to the wisdom of your subconscious mind, trusting it to find the best way. 3. Rest with a deep sense of conviction that it is already done. Feel the reality of the solution. Dr. Murphy warns strongly about the conflict of desire and imagination, he states. When your desires and imaginations are in conflict, your imagination invariably gains the day.
Meaning, if you want one thing but constantly picture the opposite.
Exactly. If you desire health but constantly imagine yourself sick, your imagination of sickness will tend to prevail. Trying to conquer that negative imagination with willpower just reinforces it, gives it more energy. He uses the analogy of walking a plank. Easy on the ground. But suspend it 20 feet in the air. Your imagination of falling often overpowers your desire to walk across safely. And that biblical phrase, if two of you shall agree on earth, Dr. Murphy interprets that too as the harmonious union or agreement between your conscious and subconscious on any idea, desire, or mental image. And the best time, the most effective time to create that union, to impress an idea upon the subconscious, is just prior to sleep, as the conscious mind naturally lowers its defenses.
So wrapping this up, what does this all really mean for us, for you listening? This exploration has uncovered this, well, incredible power that seems to reside within each of us. We've learned that your thoughts create your reality isn't just a nice saying, it's presented as a fundamental law. And by consciously, intentionally directing our subconscious, we actually have a right to be rich, happy, and successful.
And let's not forget that really encouraging message near the end of the book. Your subconscious mind never grows old. Qualities like patience, kindness, truth, love, peace. These are timeless, ageless qualities. As Dr. Murphy beautifully puts it, we do not count a man's years until there is nothing else to count. He suggests seeing gray hair as an asset, that age can actually be the beginning of a glorious, fruitful, active, and most productive life pattern, potentially better than anything you've experienced before.
So for you, our listener, if this conversation has sparked something in you, inspired you to maybe start tapping into this incredible power within, the book leaves us with a perfect, simple call to action.
If this book inspired you, start tonight. Whisper your dream to yourself and let your mind do the rest. Subscribe to Stories Aloud for more life-changing ideas from books. Until next time, keep listening.
And maybe just a final thought for you to consider on your own. The book suggests that when you want your goal as much as you wanted air when you were immersed in water, you will receive it. What powerful, positive thought, what feeling will you choose to impress upon your subconscious tonight?